Hello friends, today we are going to make a matching set of soap dispensers. This is for a custom order that I had, so I need to make these as close to as the same as possible. I'm mixing up just 2 ounces of resin right now, just so that I can get a nice little base at the bottom. These little cups are perfect for this. The small one is a 1 ounce, kind of like a shot glass type thing. It's a disposable one, and then I've got the 2 ounce little plastic cup, so I can just do 1 ounce of each one, mix it together in one cup, and it's perfect without having to weigh it out when it's that small of an amount. I'm going to pour half of this clear resin into each one of them, just to make sure I have an even amount in both of them. Okay, now I'm going to add in, this is some crushed glass. I love these little things. They are perfect for resin. I got them at Michael's on a super sale. And when I tell you they are the best filler, it would add some weight to them and some nice shine and glitter. I put that down in there. I'm going to use my popsicle stick and move it around just to make sure that I have an even amount all the way around. I obviously didn't, so I had to add a little bit more, move that around a little bit more before I can move on to the next one. Like I said, we are trying to get these to be as perfect together as we can. This is just the first layer going in. This is just to add a little bit of bling around that around the top. Excuse my face getting in the camera. I had a really bad angle. I'm still trying to learn how to use this. Now I'm adding in my flowers. I'm going with black and silver flowers. The customer wanted gray tones, so that's the closest I could come. You can't find gray flowers, but I did find some really pretty silver ones that I think are going to work really good. And as you can see, every time I add one into one, I add the same flower into the other one. They are going to move around a bit, but at least the same types of flowers will be in the same general area on each one of them. I also have the lids for these sitting behind them. You can kind of see them behind, and as I find little flowers, I'm adding those to the lids just to give the lids a little bit more bling too. That just kind of adds a little bit instead of just having a plain lid on there. And this is going to go for a little bit as I keep adding flowers until I get to the point where I think it's going to be perfect. There's those lids I was talking about. And I always have my flowers sitting next to me. Before I start a project, I kind of go through my flowers to see which ones I think are going to work the best in there. And it could be 4, 5, 6 packages. I never know. But I just try to pick out the ones that I want beforehand so that they're sitting right there. And you can see as I'm adding, I keep looking down into it just to see what it's kind of looking like. I don't like to overdo them. I only, I like to use a few flowers here and there. I don't like to put them so packed full that you don't see any other elements in these things. This does take time, and it takes practice to find which flowers you're going to like in what areas. It's a trial and error. And some of them float more than others, but because I had put that first layer in it and it had already started to harden, some of the flowers kind of stick to that, which helps out. Now we're mixing up 10 ounces of resin to use to pour around those flowers. Now you'll see I put 1 drop of the black in. I didn't like it. It wasn't quite dark enough, so I added 1 more. If you add 2, 3 drops to start with, you will never, you can't take that back away. You have to go with it. So you add your color slowly. Now you'll see me slowly kind of pouring it in. I usually will try to pick a corner to pour it into that doesn't have many flowers. And now I'm going to add that same color to the lids so that we have those matching colors going in. Now, as you can tell, I'm still not done with the actual dispenser part, I'm doing this in layers. So this is a 2 to 3 day process depending on how many different layers you use. Now I'm using my popsicle stick to go around that center part on those lids. Bubbles get trapped in there, and if you get those trapped bubbles, you're going to have parts of your screw top missing, which can make it very difficult, or it won't work at all when you go to put your top on these after they've dried. So you got to make sure. I used the popsicle stick first. Now I'm going around them with a toothpick, very gently pushing those flowers down, getting any bubbles out that could be trapped under those flowers, and going around that center again, making sure, because you do not want bubbles in your lids. Now we're on to another day, and I'm putting a little bit darker resin on the back of those lids, and this will be the final layer on those lids. They don't take much resin at all, but I like to do a dual tone sometimes just to give that little backing a little bit darker color. Again, this is supposed to be gray tone, so I'm not wanting to go too black on this. I want it to be more of that grayish black color. So I'm going to set those over there. That's my leveling board. That kind of keeps those level while I'm working on these other things. My table isn't always very level. Now what you're seeing going in now, this is a mixture of resin and sand. And it's that's why it looks so muddy and thick. It's because I have mixed in some gray sand, which is very light colored when it's dry, but you put it in resin and it darkens, which is fine. I still have that gray tone. It's going to add some weight to the bottom of my soap dispensers so that they don't tip easily, and give it just one more dimension. So now we've got the glitter on the very top, we've got flowers in the middle, now we've got sand, and we're going to finish this off with a little bit of resin colored with a couple drops of the black again. And that's another just another couple ounces. I think it was 3 ounces. These molds take 12.5 ounces each total. So I've done these enough that I know what I'm doing with my layers. Now I am going to be putting a little bit more crushed glass in the bottom so that my bottom and my top match. And it just gives it that final kind of beautifying look. It's very symmetrical. You have a lot a lot of different textures going on. Here I'm just filling it in. I've put that resin in. I'm putting the crushed glass in. I'm making sure that it gets into all the corners. That's why you'll see me pouring it kind of in the corners first, and then kind of working my way more towards the middle. Here I am just putting some more of that fine crushed glitter right into it, just to get it all in there, making sure it's nice and even all the way across the top so that you have a nice even bottom. If you have pieces sticking up through the bottom, it's not going to sit on a counter or a table correctly. It's going to rock. It's just not going to be good. You also want to make sure that your tables are very level when you're doing these, because when you're doing layers, if your table isn't level, your layers are going to be crooked. And that's going to show. I'm just scraping off just a little bit. I over poured a little bit. And now it's time to demold these and see what we got. These are not easy to demold. Once you get it going, it's okay. But you can see it's a struggle right there. And I've got to push that all the way down. I had to adjust my camera. It was trying to fall over, so I had to move that. But so here we go. I just roll it down. I don't use mold release. I'm not a fan. It always makes my stuff kind of look cloudy. I don't like that. Maybe it's the brand of mold release. I don't know, but I just don't even deal with it. And there it is. See how we've got those symmetrical layers? Sorry. It's late at night right now. I apologize. Now we're going to do the other one and just kind of see what we got. Always a struggle. Once you get it down, it does come off pretty easy. It's just getting that lip turned down all the way around at first. I do struggle. I do laugh at myself quite a bit. And there we go. There is the other one. And you can see now where those lines are. If you don't have your table even, those lines are going to be all crooked. And there's the tops. Now I'm going to show you. I take a little bit of resin and gently smooth that around the underside. You just want a thin layer. You don't want too much, because if you put too much, once you put that top on there, it's going to drip down inside. Then you're going to see drip marks. You can do this with UV resin if you want. I just chose this time to do it with regular resin since I was doing a bunch at one time. And here they are. I think they turned out beautiful. I hope my customer likes them, and I hope you do too. Give this video a like, thumbs up, give me a follow if you like it. Have a good day.